Zolder in Belgium will once more play host for the final round of the 2019 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series on the 5th and the 6th of October. In 2018, the racing was intense at the finals, but who's going to grab the wins in 2019? With so many quick rookies in Elite 2 this season, who is going to come out on top? And in Elite 1, could Alan Day make NASCAR history and secure 3 back-to-back titles? It's the finals, it's Zolder, it's double championship points. Who'll be celebrating and heading towards victory lane, and who will be crowned the champion? Well, welcome back, everybody, to Circuit Zolder here in Belgium for the final round of the 2019 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Elite 1 division will be coming up very, very short indeed. Belgium's first purpose-built race circuit. Plenty of history as well. Racing in this corner of the Limburg area of Germany has been going on since the 1950s. And whilst it was on original street circuits, we're now on the purpose-built Zolder circuit. 4 kilometres nowadays, 2.5 miles. The winner of the last NASCAR Whelen Euro Series race here in 2018 was Alan Day. He secured victory in both of the races that we had here last year, and we will see the cars for the Elite 1 division race heading onto the grid very, very shortly. 10 key parts of the circuit, but there are 16 corners, and if you weren't with us earlier on for the Elite 2 race, that picture tells you everything that you need to know. It's rather wet here in Belgium at the moment, and well, traction is going to be at a bit of a premium. We had racing in the dry conditions yesterday, some fantastic racing, wheel-to-wheel racing and pure racing in the penultimate round of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. So let's look back at some of the highlights from yesterday. So a first ever win in the Elite 1 division for Thomas Ferrando, a former Elite 2 champion in yesterday's race, but it was a 6th win of the season yesterday for champion-elect Lasse Sorensen. Wet conditions, which means that the cars aren't as yet heading out onto the grid. Rather than a grid walk with the spectators, it's a pit walk for them, because sensible decision has been taken by the officials not to put the drivers out onto the grid to get nice and wet to then get in their racing cars. So the families and the spectators enjoying the opportunity to head down pit road at the moment and grab some last-minute autographs with the drivers before the cars are released onto the circuit, which gives us the perfect opportunity to chat to the man behind this series who joins me in the commentary box for the first 5 or so minutes. Jerome Galpin is alongside me. Jerome, welcome to the Zolder commentary box. An exciting weekend ahead, exciting times ahead for the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your welcome. Great news for the race fan. We are in Europe. We are racing under the rain, so there will be no delay or whatever. We will have hard racing and nice racing in the coming minutes. It's big. It has been great news for everybody. You know, the entire NASCAR Whelen Euro Series family. 10-year extension with NASCAR. Plenty of time in front of all of us to work and continue to grow the sport and the pure racing in Europe.
How important is that for your organisation here, Team FJ, the people behind this series, and NASCAR? You've built a great relationship with the last few years for them. Clearly that is a strong relationship with Gene Stefanition making that announcement for a further 10-year extension. So from a business perspective for Team FJ, that's great to have that continuity, but also that view forward, that you've got that stability.
Absolutely. You have to remember that when we created originally the series in 2009, we were a small French series, and now we grew up into an international series, and thanks to this partnership with NASCAR in 2012, we became the official NASCAR series in Europe. So it's already, you know, it was already at this time a dream come true, but then since then, you know, the series never stopped to grow and to develop. And really, you know, we came to a point where we discuss and exchange together and say, look, now we have still a huge potential in front of us, but you know, we really need more involvement from NASCAR to continue to develop the series and grow up, because now the other racing series in Europe that are a bit above us are big companies, and so the next step can be done, and to become, let's say, one of the major series in Europe, we need more NASCAR involvement, because clearly, you know, the pure racing, the atmosphere, the race fans can see them on screen, you know, and the values we share all together with the fans. We have a huge potential, and we want to continue to develop this.
That's a busier pit walk than you see at many series, bearing in mind it's miserable out there, it's wet, and they still don't want to miss the opportunity to soak up the atmosphere. You look at what we saw earlier on today, Lasse Sorensen, who is also in the commentary box and will be joining me on commentary for the race. You look at himself, you look at Giorgio Maggi, you look at Vittorio Garelli. We've had so many quick rookies in Elite 2 this year, which means that's attracting, when we say rookies, no experienced drivers, but just their first season of NASCAR, it's attracting them into NASCAR, and they can see, I think, with that type that you have with NASCAR, the potential to create a career out of this on the other side of the Atlantic.
Yeah, exactly, and that's our goal, you know, is really to create the channel. You know, basically the plan is, if you look at what was the NBA 20 years or 15 years ago, the NBA was all American, and then they developed into something that is much more international to welcome the best player of the world. So this is exactly the development we have. You know, NASCAR created 2 years ago the international group to really develop NASCAR internationals. So we have Mexico and Canada for now. We have, of course, Europe with us, and there are other projects going on. So the goal is really to select the best drivers and give them a chance to go and race in the US.
And we will see our champion from this year heading over to Mexico City for the final round of the Mexican Series.
Absolutely, that's purely part of the new exchange program we built. We had the opportunity to welcome Ruben Garcia Jr. in Valencia. So now we will have our champion, whoever it will be, to go and race the final in Mexico City. And this kind of operation that we tend to develop. You know, Allende race until Cup Series, and Loris was in Xfinity a few months ago. So really, our job is also to create opportunities for those talented kids, and to make a career and in Europe, but also in the US. So that's exactly the purpose of starting from development program to complete a career in the US.
Because it was only 12 months ago here we had Jean-François Dumoulin come from the Pinty Series.
Exactly, and we had Fred Gabillon racing at Grand Prix Trois-Rivières. So absolutely, our goal is really to provide our drivers as many opportunities as we can to have them racing all over the world.
So you've got the support of NASCAR, we know that. Whelen have been huge supporters of this series, amongst many others, of course, with the new tyre supply coming in this year from General Tyres. You know, so the key components are in place for 2020 and beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, General Tyres, Whelen, Moog, Monroe, they are such great partners. Also, you can put in the mix our track partners. You know, Zolder, fantastic partner for years. Valencia, Branzach, Hockenheim, you know, all the fantastic places and with long-term agreement. And you know, drivers, team, our organization, track sponsors, we all have the common goal to build something special in Europe. And it's, when we say the family, it's really a family. You know, we have a common goal and we work all together, everybody bringing a piece to build something that can be bigger and bigger every week.
Well, I was chatting to some drivers earlier on that maybe aren't the youngest drivers that we have in Elite One, but on the basis that they're not the youngest drivers, they have got plenty of experience racing in other series, and that was Michael Bleekemolen and Ian Eric Varden, who've been doing great things in the legend category in Elite 2, and they were both saying they absolutely want to be back for next year because of all the series they've raced in. They feel as though whilst it's serious and hard racing out on circuit, there's a real family atmosphere. Once you get out of the car, everybody socialises.
Yeah, and really we care about them. You know, we have great people in the paddock, and I would say that we love to to meet when we are 1 month or two without seeing each other. It's it's really outside of just racing. They are great people, so we have great relationship, and everybody has involvement in the series. It's not us taking the decision and say, okay, this is that way. We always talk. I always walk in the paddock and discuss with everybody to catch every single idea, because we have a lot of smart guys there.
Yeah.
So it would be it's a real chance for us to catch ideas, and they have also different perspective and also different background. So having the opportunity to learn from them and get their experience or their ideas is something that is absolutely valuable and help us a lot to build the future.
I know you're a man that never rests and works all of the time. We've seen an increase from 6 to 7 rounds this year. We had our first ever Czech NASCAR Grand Prix in Most, which was a fantastic event and went down really well, albeit it was in very different weather conditions. It was beautifully warm in Most and couldn't be much different here. I don't need to give anything away, but calendar for next year hopefully will get released to the general public very soon, and maybe is there the potential for more venues to join in as well?
Yeah, absolutely. But there is no secret that Valencia, Branzach, Hockenheim, Zolder, Most, Venray will be back in the calendar because they are long-term partner and we have fantastic races there. Maybe we should have a new venue for the coming year. So I think we should be able to confirm the calendar within the next 2 weeks, I think.
And here at this venue, it's a very special weekend and albeit a very difficult one for Jacques Villeneuve. It's for the first time his first ever visit to this circuit, for which he will have not very nice memories from May of 1982. It's quite a special moment that he'll be on pole for this race. Yeah,
that's pretty unique and history, and really, Jacques is an absolutely great professional, so he's 100% focused on his race. They did really well yesterday to set up the pole, and especially in these conditions, I think it will be something, a race really special. We have seen this morning with Lasse and Giorgio and Alessio and Vittorio that you can have some real great battles on wet conditions, so I can't wait to see those guys on track.
I've got one final question for you before the pit lane is cleared and the cars start to come onto it, and you don't have to answer it, but it's a general. I looked on social media. I always have a quick look on social media, and please follow us all on social media, whether it be Twitter, Instagram or Facebook here at Euro NASCAR. There was a lot of conversation on social media last year that the Euro NASCAR was not a car that appeared in Race of Champions, and I think everybody was devastated because it delivered a very different car to Race of Champions. Is there any news that we might see it back at some point?
At this point, I have no news. Once again, we have also great relationship with Frederic, who is running the Race of Champions, and also Yvonne Banoni, who organize on site. So I don't have any more news for the moment, but we love to be part of this event. We had the opportunity, to have many great drivers in our car, and the cool thing I can tell you, and what makes us very proud of our cars, is that when we run a test day with drivers, let's say not drivers, but people without any experience, let's say for a sponsor activation or so on, driving our car at 3-5% of the potential, or having Sebastian Vettel or Peter Solberg or great name in the car. Everybody has fun in the car, whatever you use the car at 3% or at 120%. So really, and that's why, our thing is pure racing, but that's it. That's really our core stuff. When you love racing, when you love, pushing in the race car and so on, in the NASCAR, people think, in Europe that our car should be heavy, not fun to drive and so on. But, Jacques is the best example. Peter Solberg at the Race of Champions is in love with our cars. And I think, when you love racing, whatever age you are, 16, like some of the younger, you are 70, like Michael, when you love racing, you have passion for racing, you love driving and handling everything of a race car without any electronics, then we are absolutely the best car for that.
I'm pleased I asked the question. I'm pleased, purely because it was drivers and fans and spectators that were saying, we really miss it not being part of Race of Champions. And of course, we're heading to the off-season, and Race of Champions will be in the off-season. You're a busy chap as well. I don't want to keep you for too long because you've got to head towards race control and do your proper jobs.
Yeah, basically, my job is to do nothing. It's just make sure everybody is doing his proper job. So no, race control, I'm there, just to have a look and see what happens. And but clearly we have great crew in race control, and we have fantastic crew also working with all the track marshals and the track race control people. So my job is just discussing with people, exchanging, make sure everybody doing proper job and having fun.
Well, thank you for joining us in the commentary box. Thanks for giving us 10 minutes of your valuable time. Jerome Galpin, the man behind Euro NASCAR. Thank you, Jerome.
Oh, the husband of the woman behind Euro NASCAR.
Yes, well corrected, yes. Yes.
Have a great race.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so there is the husband of the woman behind Euro NASCAR, Anne Galpin. So thank you, Jerome. He is a busy chap. We really appreciate him taking the time to come and chat to us. All good things about Euro NASCAR. It is a very, very special little family in reality. And another member of the family is alongside me, albeit he's a rather tall member of the family because he's the best part of 6'3", and I'm not going to argue with him. It is our newly crowned Elite 2 champion. I'm delighted to say comes to join me in the commentary box, Lassie Sorensen. Lassie, congratulations, mate.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a good weekend. 2 wins. I think actually it was the first weekend we got 2 victories. So super happy for the whole team, the extra DF1 Racing, and the sponsors supporting this journey.
It's been a stellar season for you, really. If you're watching us and you've seen some of the clips on social media, people that are listening, you didn't do the first couple of races at Valencia, so you'd already sort of started the season on the back foot. And yet here we are at the final round. We saw you having a really close battle with your main championship rival, Giorgio Maggi. In reality, whoever finished ahead of who was going to be the champion.
Yeah, I mean, whole season we have been trying to gain the positions or the points onto the leader. And to be able to do it in the last race, actually in the last chicane, we were side by side and fighting clean, fair, was a pleasure. And all in all, this championship here is really a good championship for me. I'm really proud that I can be a part of it, and I hope I can be a part of it in the future as well.
We hope so too. We absolutely hope. We hope that we see you in Elite 1 on this grid that's just coming out there now. And there is the number 32 car. That is Jacques Villeneuve just heading down pit road now. Look at the standing water in pit road. And so we'll mention it again, but then we will leave it there. This is, of course, his first visit to Circuit Zolder. And that is the circuit, of course, that claimed the life of his father. When he was only 11 years of age was Jacques at the time, back on the 8th of May 1982. And, of course, the Gilles Villeneuve chicane is named after Jacques Villeneuve's father. So we wish him all the very best in what must have been emotionally a difficult weekend for him, starting from pole. What a story that is. And back to you, Lassie, again. When you think of what you had to do, you're talking about, you've done less races this season than Giorgio Maggi, yet you've claimed 7 wins out of the 10 races that you have been in. Your worst finish this year was 7th place?
P6 in Benray, actually. Yeah, and I actually had
that's not a bad season. If your worst finish is 6th, that's a good season.
That's a good season, yeah. But I mean, yeah, we actually the P6 was. I had a small problem with the car, with the ignition cable was burned.
Oh,
so,
excuses.
Yeah, excuses. Yeah. Racing drivers. So yeah, I mean, the season so far was amazing. And again, also to be able to deliver the job I did, it's only possible when you have a car that is running. So.
And the number of wins, there was a sort of a little bit of luck along the way there, because the win at Brands Hatch, you had awful luck, started off the back of the grid, and then what amazing luck you got, because Florian Venturi, who with a lap to go was leading, had a problem, and you came through to grab the win.
I really had my luck on my side, yeah, I would say, but I think you also need to have some luck to win a championship, and that's a part of it, as well as making sure the car runs through all the races as well.
So we can see the cars lined up there on the pit road. We'll guide you through the grid once they head out there, because it should be a fairly clear grid of spectators. There'll just be a few officials that will be out there. And the championship mathematically is still alive coming into this particular race. So it is up for grabs, but in reality, the chances of it going anybody else's way other than Loris Hazeman's is very slim indeed. Loris Hazeman's at the wheel of the number 50 Hendricks Ford, starts this race on 489 points. His main championship rival, Nicola Rocca, is 56 points behind him. So if I've got the maths right, assuming Loris Hazeman's doesn't start this race for whatever reason, that may happen, but then assuming everybody else does, Nicola Rocca, who starts way down in 23rd position on the grid, has got to finish second. That would give him the extra 8 points this weekend for gaining the most places, which would put him in the championship leading position. If Loris Hazeman's starts this race but does less than one lap of the race, Nicola Rocca has to win this race. That would also come with it the extra 8 championship points. Any other scenario, Loris Hazeman's is the champion. So questions were being asked of me yesterday. If I was Hazeman's, would I start from the pit lane just to do the one lap? I'm not sure I would if I were a racing driver, but I'm not. What would you do?
Well, I think as a racing driver, you always want to go out there and show you're the real champion. And I think for Hazeman, that for sure he want to go out there and he want to fight up. He's obviously very fast. That's why he's in the lead of the championship. Yep. And I think he want to go for a win then.
He's got to do it from 5th on the grid. And we all know what happened at turn number 1 in yesterday's Elite 1 race.
Yeah, but I mean, in this weather we have right now with all the water, everything can happen. It's so easy to do mistakes, and I mean, everyone could potentially win here.
It looks as though over the course of what we've been talking last year, the rain has eased a little bit as well. So there was a separate briefing for the Elite 1 drivers, like there was for you guys as well. And subject to conditions, the officials would make the decision as to whether it would be a 2x2 start of the race, whether it be a single file start of the race, or whether they would actually start behind a safety car as they did for your race and then get the race underway. Looking at the weather conditions, I know the cars have only just come out and it's been raining, so the standing water's built up, but it doesn't look ideal out there at the moment, does it?
I think the reason why we do the single file, of course, is for the safety, but it's also when you can see the spray coming from the cars.
Yeah.
When it's too much, you can't see when you're behind some of the other drivers. So I think, personally, I think it will be a single file restart.
I agree with you. I think it will be a single file start. That car, however, will start from the pit lane. Number 88, Romain Iniesta, was deemed to be the culprit by the officials in the multiple car incident that occurred on the charge up towards turn number 1 on the first lap yesterday. So as a result of that, it was a level 4 penalty was issued to him, which means that, yeah, he will start from the pit lane rather than, as he should have done, from what would be 7th position on the grid. So there will be a sort of gap behind Loris Hazeman's, our champion-elect, or the championship leader, when we get the race underway. You look at what's happened in Elite 1 so far this year, and Loris Hazeman's has taken 4 back-to-back wins in Elite 1. Alan Day, the outgoing champion, has had a bit of bad luck, but 4 back-to-back wins is impressive by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I mean, really, when I've been looking at the Elite 1 championship, I feel Hazeman's strength is really in the qualifyings. He seems to always be somewhere in the front row for the qualifyings, and in Elite 1, where the races are so close, then it's just easier to be up there. Of course, you have to be very fast to be able to get the lead all the way through. But I mean, he has done everything right this season, and as well, had the luck on his side, and Alan Day didn't.
And you're right about qualifying. You've got to be up there or thereabouts in qualifying, and Loris Hazeman's has done that all year. Amazingly, though, of the 7 qualifying sessions we've had in Elite 1, we've had 7 different pole sitters. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah. Seven different pole sitters. When we went to Valencia, Anna Valerino was on pole. We went to Franciacorta in Italy. It was Alan Day that secured pole. Stinis Longines secured pole at Brands Hatch. In Most, it was Nicola Rocca. At Venray on the oval, it was Jacques Villeneuve. Loris Hazemans did it at Hockenheim, and Tomo Ferrando did it yesterday.
Okay, I didn't know that. But yeah, I think as we spoke about Hesselman, he has always been up there or thereabout. So even if he didn't get the pole position, he would still be in, I guess, top 3.
Yeah, and I say he's done all of the hard work in the championship. So the pom-pom girls are on the grid. The grid is filling up with a few officials and some of the VIPs, but we'll wait until the grid clears a little bit so we can see a bit more of the cars to then sort of guide you through the way that the grid will line up. Of the Elite One drivers, I know you'll be rooting for Guillaume de Flandre because, of course, he is driving the sole car that we see out for your team, the Deck Sweat DF1 racing team. Your 66 is sort of parked up and done now for the season, but they've had to service the 99 and get it out there. Guillaume joined you in the team for Hockenheim last time out. Your impressions of him, because he has been a race winner here in Elite 2.
Yeah, he's obviously a very good driver. Already from the first practice session we had in Hockenheim, he was up there. Had some back luck in Hockenheim, but this weekend again he showed really good pace. He was qualifying was a bit mixed because some drivers were on the rain tires, some drivers were on slicks, but he was always up there. So really impressed me.
And we've had an influx, it seems, into the championship generally this year of Scandinavians, of which you are one. But you're the only Danish representative we've got. So I assume you sort of speak to Team Memphis with the Swedes and the Finns that they've got in there and have a chat to them.
Actually, didn't speak a lot with them, but I guess we need to. Scandinavians have to hold together.
And you're heading back tomorrow morning. Are you back home?
Yeah, I guess we are going to have a little celebration tonight, and I'm driving my car back home to Denmark.
Right, so you need to be careful. And how long's that to get back home from here? Drive rather than fly?
It's about 8 or 9 hours. Maybe tomorrow will be 14 hours, depending on how many pit stops I need.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, take it steady. Enjoy this evening, but take it steady. You've got to drive tomorrow. So conditions out there, it looks as though it is slightly worse. Just sort of talk us through. Most of the drivers are saying turn 3 difficult. There's always a river of water running across turn 3, but from your perspective on Friday in particular, where it's rather wet, where are the other standing water patches around this track?
It was especially in the first chicane and Villeneuve chicane as well. There was water, and then of course turn 3. The problem with turn 3 is that you are going really high speed, and you suddenly have to cross this puddle of water.
Well, you've got steering lock on as well.
Yeah, exactly. And once you are on the throttle, you will start to make wheel spin, and then you will get a big slide. So actually, the ideal thing is to go a bit off throttle once you hit it, and then go on again after.
There was one point in your race coming out of turn 3. I did see you you were under pressure from Maggi at the time, but I did see the back end really kick out as you got a slide on in the race earlier.
Yeah, it's because when you hit the ideal line. You obviously don't have as much grip as you want. So when you have to go early on power, when you hit the ideal line, you'll slide a bit.
So in theory, if we're running to time, I think we're slightly behind time at the moment. We should be hearing from the Grand Marshal in around about 2 minutes' time to ask the drivers for the final time this year to fire up the engines, but that is, I think, maybe just going to be delayed slightly. It's the right thing to do, though, wasn't it? For the officials made the sensible decision in the awful conditions on the build-up to this race, rather than leave the drivers out in the pouring rain for half an hour, keep them in the pits and let the spectators go to the drivers in the pit lane.
Yeah, also especially because in the NASCARs we have no windows. So, we have the front window and the back window, but the side windows is not there. So when we are parked in the rain too much, the rain will start to go into the car, and that's not what you like because we have the pedals and everything where we have to work from. So it's a good decision. And
in the wet conditions, with the open windows, that lets rain in, but equally as much it gets a bit of ventilation in there when the temperatures inside the car when you're running start to heat up. So is visibility still an issue with windscreens starting to steam up on the inside?
Not really, because we have a warmer on the windshield.
Oh, so, right, okay.
Yeah, so it's not a huge problem, but it could be. You don't make it better.
So off is going one of the course cars, leaving the safety car at the front. The pom-pom girls still busy dancing away on the build-up to this 13th and final round of the 2019 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. We're about 2 minutes away from really starting to get things rolling, and now by the look of things it is just about time to hand downstairs, because our Grand Marshal for the final race of the season is there on the start line, ready to really get things rocking and rolling. The engines are now only a matter of seconds away from springing into life.
Drivers, start your engines!
So there we go, Lassie Sorensen. You know what this feels like. You've been waiting for things to get underway, and finally you can press that ignition button.
I mean, you're really nervous until you start the engine, and then suddenly when you start the engine, for me at least, you don't get so much nervous anymore, so it's all focused on the race.
So let's guide you through the grid then before they head off. Pole position is the number 32 Chevy, Go Fast Racing Chevy of Jacques Villeneuve, the 1997 Formula One World Champion. Alongside him is that car there, number 54 Alan Day, the back-to-back and outgoing Elite One champion, his Chevy for Cal Racing. Row number 2 of the grid, it's the PK Car Sport, number 11 Chevy of Stinis Longing at his home NASCAR Grand Prix, the blue car with the day glow flashes to the front of it. And on the outside of the second row, it's a largely blue car, but you can just pick out some red and white flashes to the bonnet. That's the British driver, Alex Sedgwick, feeling a bit under the weather with a virus at the moment. The third row of the grid, watch to the right of the screen, the black car with the Dutch national flags down the centre of it, the red, the white and the blue, is Loris Hazemans, the championship leader, and alongside him, number 78, local hero, race winner here in 2017 in Elite 1, Mark Goossens. The car didn't compete in Elite 2 because of a differential issue. And row number 4 of the grid, a gap on the inside where we should have had Romain Iniesta. He will start from the pit lane, and alongside his car number 99, the Dexwec DF1 Chevy of Guillaume de Flandre. The 5th row of the grid, yesterday's race winner, number 27, Thomas Ferrando, alongside the only other driver to have stepped up from Elite 2 into Elite 1 and won a race. That was last year at Brands Hatch, number 9, Gianmarco Ercoli. Row number 6 of the grid, the Memphis Racing Chevy, number 77 of Alexander Graf, alongside 98, which is Dylan Derdala. He's already had an outing this afternoon in one of the support races, so he's maybe used to the conditions a little bit more. On to the 7th row of the grid, number 70, Sebastian Pliquet-Mollem, alongside 36, the reigning and outgoing Elite 2 champion. You've just taken his title away. He won it last year, Ulysse Delceau. And on to row number 8 is where we see 48, the most successful driver ever in NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, 22 times a race winner, 3 times a champion, number 48, Ander Villarino, alongside number 12 for Solaris Motorsport, Francisco Cini, where a few of the drivers and even some of the media team have signed the front bumper of his car for this final race of the weekend. The 9th row of the grid sees number 8, Dario Carzo, line up alongside 46, Salvador Tinio Arroyo. And row 10 of the grid is number 31, Mauro Trioni, who joined me in the commentary box earlier on, alongside number 23, which is Henry Tuamala. Henry Tuamala with one hand at least on the Legend Trophy, which is for bronze-graded drivers aged 14 over that enter the Elite 1 Championship. After Henry Tuamala, then we're on to the penultimate full row of the grid, which is row number 11. Number 7, Martin Dubec, alongside 3, Fred Gabion. These are cars that had problems yesterday, should make some progress, I would have thought, in this race. The driver that picks up the most places, start position to finish position, gains an extra 8 championship points for this weekend. The penultimate row of the grid, row number 12, number 24, second in the championship, Nicole LaRocca. We've been through the championship permutations. Is that already problems for Dubec? I fear it might be. The number 7 looking as though it might be stricken out on circuit. Nicole LaRocca, he's got to finish second or win this race, subject to whether Loris Hazemans starts or not. So hence why I say you never know whether they're going to start, because Martin Dubec's car with a problem. And alongside him is a double former champion from 2009 and 2010, Luca Lasser. And off the back of the grid is the Alex Caffey Racing number 2 car, the Chevy, in the hands of the Japanese driver Kenko Miura. What a disappointing end to the season for Martin Dubec. He's had a really troubled year. He's one of the drivers that's raced in both Elite 1 and in Elite 2. But with the car stuck out on circuit, we're going to remain behind safety car for sure.
Yeah, I think so now, for sure. They will have to take some time to get the car away from the track again. So, yeah, I think it will be a safety car start.
Yes, I can't imagine it'd be anything other than a single file start, and the marshals doing a fantastic job as ever they do. Doesn't matter where we travel in Europe, they always do a wonderful job of keeping the drivers safe and signalling them and getting cars out of harm's way, and they've had to do it in the most awful conditions. But as was said in the driver briefing, without them we can't go racing. It's as simple as that. So we sincerely thank them from the bottom of our hearts for all the hard work they've done here over the course of this weekend and every venue that we've visited. So over the start-finish line comes the safety car. This is scheduled to be an 18-lap race. For the moment, it is not starting under safety car, this race. They are going over the start-finish line with no laps ticking down, so it looks as though they're being given 2 potential laps. And in these wet conditions, is it possible to build a great deal of tyre temperature?
It's really hard, but I think that's why you see so many guys trying to do the best to get them up to temperature, because I think in rain is that the tire pressures is close to be everything about the grip from the tires. So if you're running a bit lower tire pressure than you probably expected, you really need to warm them up in the beginning. So I think that's why so many people do it.
And how much weaving gets temperature into the tyres in these kinds of conditions? Are you better being on and off the brakes as well while you've got the opportunity to do? Because once you're side by side for the double start or in single file, and the opportunity's gone to warm the brakes any further.
Yeah, I think I also saw Hesseman did that, braking and accelerating all the time, and then weaving a bit after, and then braking again. So I mean, the brakes are always a good way to get warm into the tires, because when we are going slowly in the lineup, you will get the heat from the inside of the tire.
And the final question again, all the windscreen wipers going, apart from on the race leading car of Jacques Villeneuve. I noticed that was the case in your race as well. How much of an advantage is it to have a clear windscreen?
I mean, you can see pretty much all the braking zones, so that is always a good thing. But I mean, when you're behind, you cannot see anything, so that can also be a good thing. So you just follow the leader. So yeah, it's a bit always good to see everything. But
and of course those braking zones, you know, in the when you're shrouded in mist coming up from the car behind you, having to look in your peripheral vision for those braking points. So your actual braking point that you use might be different in the wet to the dry, purely because you won't be able to see it in the wet conditions. So you have to move your visual marker.
Yeah, normally in the wet races, if you're really close to the guy in front, you obviously brake when he brakes, and then you have to adjust it. And then suddenly, 50 meters after you start braking, you will see the corner somewhere. Then you know if you've gone too fast or too slow.
And you know whether you've got the apex or not, as the case may be. And in the wet conditions, sometimes getting the apex isn't the right thing. You want that wider arc through the corner, the less polished surface, maybe, to give you a bit more grip.
Yeah, also this track is quite special because you have the 3 chicanes. So in the chicanes you have to drive a bit different lines than you would normally do in the rain.
And most of the drivers say that the cleaner chicane on the back straight, turn 5 and turn 6, is a very rewarding corner if you get it right. It's the one they enjoy.
If you hit the first curve and you fly over the second one, then you are really fast through it. So, I mean, it's a really nice chicane.
and what's the corner you just don't like?
There's no really corner I don't like on this track. So, I mean, turn 3, of course, is a bit hard when you have the water curve.
Yeah. But it must be thoroughly enjoyable in the dry.
In the dry, it's really cool because you go flat all the way and really high speed. But yeah,
turn 3 depends on the weather as to whether you like it or you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
So the car's heading over the finish line. It looks as though this is now the safety car start. So we are now starting this race under safety car. However, it is only going to be 1 safety car lap. So the race has started. The safety car will be in at the end of this lap, is the confirmation that's been received from race control, which means that we can really start to see as to what might happen. Remember, championship permutations are not that car there, the 23, but the one that's behind it on the circuit, Nicola Rocca. Now that the race is underway, that means that Nicola Rocca has to win this race. Any other option isn't going to count for anything, and even if Loris Hasemans just completes the first lap of the race, that's enough for him to be the champion. That's not a bad position to be in, is it? Coming
for Hesseman, it's a really good position, but for Rocca, he really has to do everything he can now. I mean, you're never going to give up, but it's looking a bit hard.
It's out of his hands, yeah. As long as Hasemans does a lap, that's it. It's gone. It's gone. Such is the way that it works, is that if you complete less than 1 lap, you get 3 points less than the last classified finisher. So and he needs those extra 3 points, Hasemans, in reality, just to absolutely secure it. But mathematically, in Elite 1, can you honestly see a car coming from 23rd to first. You did it in Elite 2, and that's a tall ask. In Elite 1, wow, that's tough.
I think it will be way harder in Elite 1 for sure.
He deserves the championship if he does it well.
Yeah, I mean, if he can do it, I will hand him a trophy.
So there is the car of Nicola Rocca. It's only him or Loris Hazemans that mathematically can win it because of the problems that occurred, particularly at Hockenheim for Stinis Longines, who was leading the championship and was hoping to come here maybe with the opportunity to try and grab a championship victory in Elite 1. Those problems at Hockenheim sort of evaporated it. He dropped from first to third in the championship and is now mathematically out of touch, can't do anything about it. So Jacques Villeneuve on pole position alongside Alan Day, so the ex-Formula 1 world champion, Indy 500 winner, alongside the back-to-back champion from 2017-2018 in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Alan Day knows the championship title is gone, but he's still chasing Ander Villarino for the overall wins in Elite 1. Alan Day is on 20 at the moment. He wanted to get past Ander Villarino, who is on 22 by the end of the season. That can't happen, but he could be one behind him going into next year. How important is it for you as well? Because I was working out, now you've had 7 wins in Elite 2. That moves you up to joint third with the Tasmanian driver, Josh Burton, in the overall wins for Elite 2.
That's good.
You've only been in for 3/4 of the season.
Yeah, the start is coming up now. I'm looking forward to see if the cars are making wheel spin. That was a big problem in our race because you have to obviously go 4,000 RPM all the way up to the start line here. So.
Jacques Villeneuve asked the question on single file starts. Could he take the centre, the left or the right of the circuit? He was told, go where you want. You're the front man. Everybody else, though, behind has to sit behind you. So buckle up, everybody, for the final time this year. We're about to go green here at Circuit Zolder for the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. The green flag flies. Jacques Villeneuve looking to try and get the jump on the pack behind. They can't jink out from that position until they've gone over the start-finish line, but already there's contact in the wall. Is Dylan Dare-Dahler, and I think he got caught out with Sebastian Bleekie-Molen, so already there's cars strewn on the start-finish line, but Jacques Villeneuve leads the race, and Stinis Longines is looking to try and get up the inside of Alan Day at turn number 2 and has been able to sneak his way through, but I'm not sure whether the safety car might come out. Dylan Dare-Dahler is sort of limping away. Right, the bonnet's just flown up on his car and he's having to look through the bonnet as now Stinis Longines is looking for the lead of the race. He tries to get up the inside of Jacques Villeneuve, heading through turn number 4. The door was just about closed, though. Lots of little twitches from Stinis Longines' car as it hits that standing water that you were talking about there at that part of the circuit. They charge their way in towards the braking area, and it's Alan Day that takes up the lead of the race from Jacques Villeneuve in second place, and Alex Sedgwick is now through into third, but gets a little bit of a slower run coming out of the corner, allowing Stinis Longines to draw himself alongside, and Mark Goosens is in on the mix as well. What a first lap.
Yeah, already now a lot of switching positions, so this is going to be a really intense race to watch.
So Alan Day already starting to put a bit of daylight between himself and Jacques Villeneuve, who sits there in second position. Stinis Longines was trying to tuck the nose of the car up the inside as they went through Turleman Bocht, but that wasn't quite going to work. There is Dylan Dare-Dahler's car. I said the bonnet had flown up over the front of the car, and he is limping that PK Car Sport machine round towards the pit area. Stinis Longines is through and ahead of Jacques Villeneuve, who's now dropped down into third position, but still under pressure from Alex Sedgwick that sits behind. I gather the cars involved in the start line incident are under investigation at the moment, so we'll bring you news of that as and when from race control. That was car number 98, Dylan Dare-Dahler and Sebastian Bleekie-Molen that somehow managed to get themselves together. But lap number 1 are under full racing conditions. It's about to be chalked into the book in reality, but through they go. Lap number 2 rather, over the start finish line. So it is Alan Day that leads the race. There's a bit of debris on the start finish line there, which Alex Sedgwick is able to work his way through and past, but he has lost a place, hasn't he, because now it's Mark Goosens that's ahead of the number 90 car.
Yeah, I think for now also you'll see some of the drivers grouping in because of the spray you see from the cars, so it will be a bit harder now for them to make a move, so we have to see.
And number 50 that we just saw on screen, Loris Hazemans, has completed the first full lap, so in reality he is the champion for 2019, but will still want to try and keep pushing on. Where is, off the back of the grid, the car that we were hoping would make progress? Nicola Rocca, he is already up into 17th position from 23rd, so he's made a bit of progress there. So Jacques Villeneuve, Mark Goosens, then Alex Sedgwick, and then that car there, number 50, Loris Hazemans, subject to official confirmation, already the champion for this year because he completed the first racing lap. They're already on lap number 4, would you believe, if we include the safety car start. And for the lead of the race, Alan Day is getting caught, isn't he, by Stinis Longines?
Yeah, I was just trying to say Steens is really getting close now. Again, could also be tire pressure, so we will see some different times for the drivers that the tires will get in.
Remember, Stinis Longines was the championship leader as we went to Hockenheim. He's had 6 second places so far this year, but hasn't had a win this season in Elite 1. In fact, he's not had an Elite 1 win in his whole career. So might he be able to do today what Tomo Ferrando did yesterday and grab his first ever career race victory in Elite 1? He's pushing hard through this lap. He has bettered the times that anybody has posted through the first and the second sector, and may well be on for the fastest lap of the race here on lap number 4, applying pressure to Alan Day. Jacques Villeneuve has got a bit of a queue of cars behind him at the moment, but he'll use all of that experience, and my goodness, has he got plenty of it to keep everybody behind. So the leading pair over the start-finish line. It is a new fastest lap of the race for Stinis Longines, a 1 minute 51.595, and look at the lack of visibility for the drivers behind. They're disappearing, aren't they, behind the spray?
Yeah, that's everything right now is trying to get some vision for the corners, trying to get out of the spray. That's why you see many of the drivers also going out of the slipstream. We
just saw Nicola Rocca there, who is still making a bit of progress now. He's up to 16th position, so another place gain there. That will be at the expense of Henry Tuamala, who doesn't need to worry, really, Henry Tuamala. He might have lost an overall place, but he's focused on the Challenger Trophy for the bronze and silver graded drivers that enter the Elite 1 Championship, and he is leading that at the moment with another couple of cars in between him and Dario Carzo, who's next in the order. So Tuamala is certainly looking as though he's heading towards the Challenger Trophy in this one. The race leading battle, though, is most certainly on. There was just under 0.8 of a second from first to second place last time through. The Cal Racing Chevy ahead of the PK Car Sport Chevy, the two of them together. Jacques Villeneuve still in third place, Mark Goossens in fourth, and now the queue of cars is behind Gianmarco Ercoli, who's made it up into fifth position. So we've had a little bit of shuffling there. Ercoli started this lap in seventh place.
Hesman's dropped down one place, I think.
So Loris Hazen, well, he drove with his head yesterday. I spoke to Loris yesterday and he said, I did what I needed to do. You know, I know that I can't win every race. The winning streak was going to come to an end. I know what I need to do in terms of the championship, and I think we'll see something similar here from Loris. He needs to stay clean, he needs to stay out of trouble, and he's already the champion, so he just wants to enjoy himself now.
Yeah, of course, that's what is counting. That is the big trophy after the season. So for sure he will not go as hard for the victory today, but of course for the big trophy.
So Stinis Longines looking to try and attack Alan Day. Alan Day trying to squeeze and just about close the door. There's a little bit of contact between the pair of them, but nothing too sinister there. The tail end of the Cal Racing Chevy kicks out. You can see the opposite lock as well, couldn't you, from Stinis Longines as he went round through turn number 1. The two of them are first and second in the championship last year. Will Stinis be able to get himself ahead of Alan Day this time through? Let's have a look. Well, coming into this race, Stinis Longines was lying third in the championship. Alan Day was 6th in the championship, but it's double points. There's not a great deal of points between them. There's still work to be done for both of them in this race. Over the start-finish line, they'll work their way. The Chevrolet SS ahead of the newer shaped Chevy in towards the braking area for that part of the circuit that you were talking about. Still using all of the curbs, even in these conditions, the painted curbs. Good idea.
Yeah, because it really cuts off the line a bit, so you always have to be outside of the rubber. That's the ideal line, so it's really good to take the curves quite hard. That's also what you see here in the Villeneuve chicane. They still go all the way over the curves, so that's to get out of the rubber and getting a better traction out of the corner.
So we are currently on lap number 6 at the moment. The lead advantage was just over a quarter of a second. First to second there is the battered car, number 70 for this weekend, renumbered from 69, of Sebastian Bleekie-Molen, and that is out of the race by the look of things. So that will be investigated and a decision will be made, but I think either way, both Dylan Derdala and Sebastian Bleekie-Molen both out of the race. Side by side further down through the order, that is Francisco Cini getting up the inside of the Memphis Racing number 77 car of Alexander Graf, and there's a bright thing in the sky. We've got some sunshine for the first time now. That will start to dry the track out, but it's still fairly cold ambient conditions and there's a lot of water still, so
yeah, for sure it will not be dry through the race here. So also we have a lot of trees around the track here, so that will catch the rain a bit.
So over the start-finish line have gone the leading pair. There's nearly a 4-second gap back from Alan Day and Stinus Longjing fighting for the lead to Jacques Villeneuve. There is Loris Hazemans, the Hendricks Ford that has been so superb all year, whether it be in Elite 2 with Giorgio Maggi, who narrowly missed out on the title to Lasse Sorensen, who's alongside me, or in the hands of Loris Hazemans. It has been a quick car all year, but look at the fight for the lead of the race through the fourth turn, down the straight that brings them in towards the chicane once more, where they'll try and leap over the curbs, as we've heard from so many drivers over the course of this weekend. Stinus Longjing looking for the inside line, moves to the outside line to try and carry a bit more momentum through it. Alan Day knows he's under pressure here and might lose the lead.
Yeah, he got the traction out of the corner there. You see now he can go on the outside. He really jumped the curve, so let's see if he can get him in the braking zone here.
He has, he's got the inside. Alan Day knows that the job is done, and he is through into the lead of the race. Stinus Longjing. Well, Stinus Longjing and Alan Day have raced wheel to wheel on many occasions. Stinus Longjing was tapped into a spin actually by Alan Day at Hockenheim, and whilst he was pointing in the wrong direction, there was another car unsighted that slammed into the side of Stinus Longjing and started that run of bad luck that he had at Hockenheim. Alan Day was the first person to go and apologise for that, so the two of them get on as well as any racing driver does off circuit. But look, already Stinus Longjing is pulling away. He had the pace, he finally got the opportunity, and well, he's starting to disappear up the road.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see whether some of the guys are on a bit lower tire pressures now. So we will see when the sun is out, the track will be more dry. So we'll see if the tire pressures are lower on some of the other guys.
So through and over the start-finish line, Stinus Longjing goes, having only got the lead of the race, a third of the way round that lap. He's already 1.7 seconds ahead of Alan Day, and on that lap, despite the overtake, popped in the fastest lap of the race we've seen so far, 1 minute 51.392. Circuit conditions still rather wet out there, to say the least. Cars just working their way round through turn number 3. Stinus Longjing ahead of Alan Day. Jacques Villeneuve still doing a good job of hanging on to third position. Mark Goossens is not far away, but the pressure he was under earlier on in the race just seems to have subsided a little bit now for Jacques Villeneuve.
Yeah, I think he's trying to maintain the tires. Maybe he knows he's on a slightly lower tire pressures than some of the other guys. So I think he's trying to do the best now, trying to keep up with the pack.
And we'll say leading the junior trophy at the moment, that's for the drivers under 25 years of age that enter the Elite 1 Championship, is Gianmarco Oakley down in 5th position at the wheel of the number 9 car. He's the leading junior driver, categorised driver that we've got. As for the car that we've just seen on screen there, still looking to try and make progress up through the order, Nicola Rocca is now to 12th position. That's not a bad performance at all from Nicola Rocca. We knew that he had hard work to do, and he's done exactly that. So up to 14th place off the back of the grid is also number 33, Luca Lasserre, double former champion, and the pit lane starter, Romain Iniesta, is up to 17th place. So the cars we thought would make progress are doing exactly that by the look of things. There was one other car, we saw Martin Dubec not start. There was another car that didn't start, and that was Fred Gapillon, 3 times a runner-up in this championship, that hasn't been out there as well, so not quite sure what the problem was with his car. So the leader about to head over the start-finish line, and there are now, that's going to be 8 laps completed. There are 10 laps to go. Stinus Longjing leads by 2.5 seconds from Alan Day, who's got about 2.5 seconds between himself and Jacques Villeneuve. Fastest lap of the race, Alex Sedgwick, number 90 now. So most of the drivers sort of finding the sweet spot and have improved their times over the last few laps. Conditions aren't really improving, but that's an impressive lap from Alex Sedgwick. He's feeling under the weather. He's been out of a race car for 5 months.
Yeah, I mean, that's really impressive. 51.2 is a really good lap. Again, as I said, maybe he had to get his tires warmed up properly. Maybe he got more clean front window now, so looking forward to see if he can get any further up now. Yeah,
he's right behind his Brax teammate at the moment, which is the white and red car, just coming into shot now of Mark Goossens. There is, right behind him, number 90, Alex Sedgwick, then Gianmarco Oakley, then the champion for this year, Loris Hazemans, and there is yesterday's race winner, Toma Ferrando. So Toma returned to victory lane for the first time in a while since 2017 yesterday, when he took an Elite 2 victory, but Elite 1 first victory lane trip for him since stepping up to this category, and only the second ever driver to have stepped up from Elite 2 to Elite 1 and won a race. That's what Lasse Sorensen will hopefully be doing next year as well. So laps ticking off all of the time. Stinus Longjing, he knows this place well, Stinis Longin. It is his home NASCAR Grand Prix. He's got so many people here supporting him and sponsors that he's had to spend time with this weekend, and it would be, I think, very fitting for a driver that's finished second for 6 occasions so far this year to grab his first Elite One win here at the final race of the year.
Yeah, at the moment looks good for him. It would be fully deserved if he could get the win now. I mean, so many second places now. He deserved to get that win.
And he became a father, what, about 8 or 10 weeks ago for the first time as well. And I think it's the first race meeting that his new baby has been along to as well. So that'll be a very, very special moment for the family. Up towards the break here for turn number 1, there is number 9, which is going to be Gianmarco Ercoli. Almost ran out wide there, and that's going to allow Loris Haseman's the opportunity to try and sneak through up towards turn number 2. Doesn't quite happen there, though, and you just spotted new fastest lap of the race there, Lassie.
Yeah, Villeneuve just did the fastest lap time of the race now, so, and he's only 1.5 seconds away from Alan Day, so could be an interesting battle going on there. Yeah, we have to see.
He was a full 1.2 seconds quicker than Alan Day over the course of that lap. So yeah, there is the number 54 Cal Racing Chevy being caught by the Go Fast Racing Chevy. Then the Ford of Mark Goosens leaps over the curve. The number 90 of Alex Sedgwick is sitting right behind him as well. So it's a Belgian leads, an Israeli second, a Canadian third. It's another Belgian in 4th place ahead of a British driver, which is Alex Sedgwick. It's an Italian that's there in 6th place. A Dutchman, Loris Haseman's in 7th. Another Italian in 8th. A Belgian in 9th, and another Italian in 10th place. How's that for variety in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series? And also, still, we ought to say, leading the junior category is Alex Sedgwick in the number 90 Brax Racing car. He's got Gianmarco Ercoli and Loris Haseman, Thomas Ferrando and Guillaume de Flandre and Nicola Rocca all behind him, who were all eligible for that as well. So that could be a good battle to watch out for. And top honours at the moment in the Challenger Trophy swapped on the previous lap, because it looks as though Dario Carzo now, the number 8 Racers Motorsport Chevy, is now ahead of Henry Tourmala. Tourmala, though, I think has still done more than enough to secure the championship if they stay in the position that they're in. And there, we've also now had a change for the lead of the junior category. It looks as though Gianmarco Ercoli has made it through and has snuck through to gain the place over Alex Sedgwick. Has he? Oh, no, he hasn't, but Sedgwick makes a big mistake there, actually, heading in towards turn number 1. Yeah, he's seen all over the curves there. Nearly ran out of room there. How difficult is it braking for turn number 1?
Turn 1 is really difficult on this track, because you have to brake outside the line, of course, but it really is a corner that opens on the exit. So it's a really hard braking zone right there, and it's also hard to judge whether you and when you have to brake. So yeah, it's easy to do a mistake and log up there.
Nicola Rocca still pushing on. His teammate number 11, Stinis Longin, continuing to lead the race. Alan Day, having been caught a little bit by Jacques Villeneuve, upped his pace on the previous lap and popped in his best individual lap of the race, but that was still the last lap half a second slower than Jacques Villeneuve. So even though Alan Day is driving as quick as he can, at the moment he's still getting caught by the cars behind. Do you think that's still down to tyre pressures or maybe car setup?
Yeah, and also for many of the drivers, we didn't do a lot of laps in the rain here, so maybe some of them trying some different lines out and some worked out for them. But we see a pack of 3 cars now coming really close to Alan Day, so looking forward to see the battle. Alan
loves the wet as well, which is why I'm surprised he's sort of struggling so much in this one. Look at the fight that's going on for 3rd at the moment. Jacques Villeneuve has found himself back under pressure again from Mark Goosens. He had managed to pull away from the number 78 Brax Racing Ford in the hands of the hugely popular Belgian driver. Plenty of fans here this weekend supporting Mark Goosens, who in his single-seater career got all the way up to Formula 3000 before, unfortunately, he then had to sort of concentrate on sports cars, and had a very good career on the other side of the Atlantic, racing in the IMSA Sports Car Championships. But yeah, it's great to see him back here in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. We saw him on the podium yesterday. He's fallen away a little bit from Jacques Villeneuve towards the end of the lap. But equally as much he's pulling away from his Brax teammate. Further back, Gianmarco Ercoli, the number 9, coming under increasing pressure from number 50, which is Loris Haseman, who just looks so smooth through turn number 1.
Yeah, looks like the car is just having the grip that he wants, so that obviously means that the setup is good, then they probably hit the right tyre pressures.
Yeah, Ercoli just seems to be sort of fighting the car relative to the car that sits behind. Here comes our race leader. Stinis Longin popped in last time through the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 51.000. Alan Day also bettered his best lap of the race, but was still caught to the tune of another 0.3 of a second by Jacques Villeneuve. So second and third not done and dusted as yet. Here comes car number 99, which is going to be for this race Guillaume de Flandre, and now he is getting hunted down by the man off the back of the grid, up to 10th place now for car number 24, Nicole Larocque. 13 places gained in these conditions.
Yeah, that's impressive. But rain is a good weather to make the overtakes. I mean, it's a bit easier sometimes to get through, so that's the luck on his side. But of course, he still has a long way to go. But really impressive drive by him.
Yeah, very impressive indeed. Remember, he came off the back of the grid because he went out on the first lap of yesterday's race, and it's your lap time from yesterday that gives you the grid for today. So he didn't get a lap time in. That means he's on the back now. Hazeman's just ran wide there. You spotted that as well.
Yeah, I was just wondering if he could get well out of the corner, he would get overtaken.
He was on the curbs, wasn't he? He's got to be so careful not to touch that throttle too much, and then we sort of short shift as quick as you can to stop the wheels spinning up there. Over the start finish line has gone Stinis Longines, leading by 4.5 seconds from number 54, the Chevy of Alan Day. It's another Chevy behind, which is the car of Jacques Villeneuve, then the Ford of Mark Goossens. What have you spotted?
27 is getting really close now to Hesman, which means he probably didn't get a good exit, as we spoke about.
Yeah, so he's fallen into the clutches of number 27, Thomas Ferrando, the Cal Racing Ford, looking to try and get himself ahead of the Hendricks Ford in the hands of our new champion for this year. We'll be hearing from Loris Hasemans. Even if he doesn't finish on the podium, we hopefully will grab a word with him on the live stream. If not, we'll certainly be doing that over social media at the end of the race. And this was doing this, I spotted this on Friday. The windscreen wiper is temperamental, is it not, on Stinis Longines? It sort of came off the screen and thankfully went back down.
You also see some of the wipers are going like in slow motion. I think, I'm not sure, but I think it's because of the wind hitting the wipers, and it's probably not the biggest engine of the wipers. So, yeah, the big engine is under the hood.
Very much so. A 400 brake horsepower engine is under the hood. There goes Loris Hazeman, splashing his way over what was Sacrament's Helling. So he will then head in towards the braking area for the Villeneuve chicane. Bounces over the curbs both on the inside and the outside. Having come under pressure from Thomas Ferrando, he's built himself another couple of car lengths gap. This is Alexander Graf coming under pressure from Romain Iniesta. Now Romain Iniesta, remember, started from the pit lane. This is the fight for 16th and 17th, and Iniesta seizes the opportunity over Alexander Graf and is able to work his way through due to a very small mistake heading through that difficult chicane that you were talking about.
Again, when you hit the rubber there, you have no traction at all. So I think that's what happened to Alexander there, unfortunately.
Yeah, great to see Memphis Racing back in the championship this year, have moved up from one car to two cars for the 2019 season. The windscreen wipers still giving Stinis Longines a bit of trouble. Thankfully, he's got a clear windscreen anyway. Now there's Alex Sedgwick diving off onto the wet parts of the circuit, which is rather surprising because it still looks plenty wet enough out there to keep the tyres where they need to be. Lap 13 has already been completed, so we've now only got 5 laps to go, and for Nicole Larocque, I'm sure that already the team have told him, that it's all done and dusted. I've just spotted into the pit lane came Dario Carzo and lost the lead of the Challenger Trophy a few laps ago. Now the Dexwet DF1 number 99 of Guillaume de Flandre is in. I'm not sure whether that's for a drive-through or whether there might be a problem with the car.
Looks like it's a drive-through. Not sure, because he didn't went into the pit box.
Yeah, for Dario Carzo, though, he has clearly got an issue with his car because he is in the pit lane at the moment, which puts the number 23 of Henry Tuamala back into the lead of the Challenger Trophy. It's a black flag for not respecting the drive-through for Dario Carzo. Oh, right, OK, he should have had a drive-through some laps ago, and right, yeah, clearly for whatever reason was enjoying himself too much, and that has quite big implications for who finishes second, third and fourth in the Challenger Trophy, as the heavens now absolutely open again. It was a drying track. It certainly isn't now. It's very, very heavy rain. And again, as a driver, you've got to adapt corner by corner, lap by lap. The conditions change again.
Yeah, exactly. And also now we see the tyre pressures getting into play again. Maybe some of the drivers that went out a bit high on the tyre pressures were struggling now because the track was drying a bit up. But now we maybe see the guys getting a bit more speed again. So it will be interesting.
It's just getting heavier and heavier and heavier. We can hear it on the commentary box roof above us. There is Alan Day, still in second place. Jacques Villeneuve still under pressure from the white and red car of Mark Goosens over the start-finish line has already gone. You can see the advantage. You can see the rain, actually, can't you, as well there on the start-finish line. And all of a sudden, the spray is getting worse and worse and worse. Alan Day splashing his way through turn number 1. Jacques Villeneuve, Mark Goosens, Alex Sedgwick, who a couple of laps ago was trying to find a slightly wet part of the circuit to try and keep his tyres in prime condition. Well, he doesn't need to do that anymore, because you can see all of a sudden the amount of water being thrown up by these wet compound tyres has changed considerably, and it's still getting heavier and heavier, the rain. They splash their way out of turn number 3, and well, look at that shot there. That is absolutely awful driving conditions, and the windscreen wiper isn't even working now, Lassie.
No, it's not working, and it's not good for him, because now you really need the wipers. So I hope he can get all the way to the end.
Alan Day.
It's going to be really hard for everyone now. It's going to be a so interesting race to see how everyone does this now.
It's now just surviving, surely, isn't it, in these conditions, because there's going to be standing water almost everywhere. Stinus Longines still coping with it. He's got a 6.5-second lead over Alan Day, whose car seems to have been quite loose for most of the race, really. Of all of the cars, I've seen more movement from Alan Day's than anybody's, but again, he has been coping with it beautifully well. Jacques Villeneuve, Mark Goosens, Alex Sedgwick are the top 5. Sedgwick still leading the junior trophy as well. He's actually the youngest driver that we have in the Elite 1 field over the course of this weekend. He is just 20 years of age, the British driver, so by far the youngest that we've got in Elite 1. As over the start-finish line goes Mauro Trioni. Now, was that wheel spin I heard there, and aquaplaning as he came through?
I think so. That was why I just pointed it out. But you also see, when we look now on the straight line here, you see a lot of standing water. So
yeah, we
again now, yeah, for the leader.
You could hear Stinus lift off there as he came past our commentary position. Yeah, there's standing water on the start-finish line, and yeah, the drivers. Look at Jacques Villeneuve again. There, you can see as soon as he hits that water, if he's on the throttle, the car starts to squirm and move around. But he'll have been in these conditions, and probably far worse in the past, and in a single-seater car as well, which is even lighter. But it really is now hats off to these drivers for trying to contain 400 brake horsepower. It's quite a heavy car, so it sort of can cut through the water to a degree, but there's so much water that the car and the tyres can cope with.
Yeah, I mean, already now it's too much water for the tyres now to. If you hit a big puddle now with water, you will obviously slide out. So the only thing is that if you hit it in the braking zone, which I don't hope anyone will, then you will have a really hard time braking.
Yeah, they've got to really sort of adjust the traction control, and remember, the traction control in these cars is your right foot. There are no electronics at all. You've just got to be so careful with the throttle, and just make sure that maybe you change the brake bias slightly on the cars as well to try and get it to where you need to be. We really need to be on board, don't we? Yeah, wouldn't it be fantastic to be on board with these cars now? With a camera. I wouldn't want to be sitting inside one. Absolutely not in these conditions, thank you. A, I'd get wet, and B, it'd be quite scary. Stinus Longines, impressive in these conditions. He's built the advantage.
Yeah, he's doing really well, doing no mistakes, and just looks like he's really feeling comfortable in the rain here. So you don't really see the car sliding around. So yeah, it looks like rain is his weather.
And maybe Stinus Longines is going to return the favour to Alan Day, because last year here, twice over the course of the weekend, Alan Day was able to grab victory, and that meant that Stinus Longines missed out on his first career wins in Elite 1 12 months ago here. Well, maybe he's going to turn the tables today on Alan Day, because for the moment he leads over the start-finish line, having completed 16 laps by 5.1 seconds from that number 54 Cal Racing Chevrolet. There is Jacques Villeneuve, potentially on for another podium as well. We've seen Jacques on the podium some 3 times already so far this year. He was third in both of the races at Franciacorta in Italy. He was third at Venray in the Netherlands, when he also qualified on pole position in that race. But it does look as though for the moment he has still got a bit of work to do. Oh, that's Tomo Ferrando. That's yesterday's race winner that's had a moment and gone off and into the gravel trap. And is that turn number 1 potentially where he's gone in backwards? Couldn't quite see from that camera shot, but that car's going nowhere, Lassie, is it?
Yeah, it looks like he just braked. It was in mid-corner, so probably in the braking zone he hit some standing water. And oh, it's not. Yeah, it's turn 1.
It's turn 1. Yeah.
But it's not in the exit, so which means it's probably the braking zone who caused this.
Yeah, so such a shame for Tomo Ferrando, yesterday's race winner. It's double waved yellows therefore at turn number 1. No overtaking. We'll try and hopefully cover it with localised yellows because we are on lap number 17 of the scheduled 18 at the moment. So next time they come over the start-finish line, there will be 1 lap to go between Stinis Longines and his first career victory in the Elite 1 division of the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Remember, he is a former Elite 2 champion. He claimed the Elite 2 championship back in 2016, Stinis Longines. He's had 9 career wins in Elite 2, but 0 so far in Elite 1. And remember, 6 times a runner-up in a race so far this year, and was leading the championship until Hockenheim. So there's the gap first to second. How is Jacques Villeneuve getting on in third? Now, Mark Goossens was looking to try and squeeze his way through, I think, there. Car just coming over the start-finish line is number 2, which is the Japanese driver Kenko Miura. He came into the pit lane a while ago, and there, through the gloom, comes Stinis Longines with 1 lap to go.
Up there for Steens, big log up.
Wow, a big oversteering moment mid-corner as well, and that was through the double waved yellows. There must be some standing water down there now for sure. That's almost caught him out.
It looks like it's just in the beginning of the braking zone. You see the cars are moving from side to side. So yeah, as well as yellow flag in T1 now.
Yeah, so
double yellow. Actually.
Yeah, you can see visibly how slower the cars are heading through that part of the circuit. And number 50, Loris Haseman, still fighting with the car round through that corner. Look at the rain on the screen. It really has been a difficult second part of the race. But hats off to the drivers for largely managing to deal with the atrocious conditions that we've got out there. Stinis Longines again, the tail end of the car, not wanting to turn in. He's lost a chunk of his advantage to Alan Day, but Alan Day is still too far away and is, I would imagine, more conscious about just making it to the checkered flag. But Stinis Longines, hats off to him. He knows this circuit well. He's had the pace, he built the gap, and in the changeable conditions he made a very small mistake but got away with it and could well be on for his first win.
Yeah, I think now it's only 3 corners left, so he will be on for a good win now, hopefully. So just have to get through the hairpin cleanly and get past the lap guy.
It looks as though in 5th place Alex Sedgwick could well be on for a win in the junior trophy. Nicola Rocca has made it all the way from 23rd up to 8th currently, winning a Challenger trophy. Looks as though it's going the way of the 23 Memphis racing car of Henry Tuamala. But for Stinis Longines, with loads of support for him here at his home NASCAR Grand Prix, he missed out on his first career victory in the Elite 1 division 12 months ago when Alan Day managed to grab both victories. But it looks as though 12 months later he's going to turn the table. He splashes his way through the Jackie X chicane for the final time. We had a first-time winner in Elite 1 yesterday with Tomo Ferrando. The final race of the season in Elite 1. It's a first-time winner again. It is Stinis Longines that comes through to grab his first career win in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Alan Day will finish in 2nd position. And what's the smoke there, or the steam at the side of the circuit? Couldn't quite see what that was there on the camera shot that we've got. And Mark Goossens will come through and finish in 3rd. Is it maybe Jacques Villeneuve that's had a problem on the final lap, because Alex Sedgwick comes through, the number 90 car, to finish in 4th place. Gianmarco Ercoli will come through and finish in 5th position. And I do wonder whether Jacques Villeneuve has had a problem. Yeah, he's over the start-finish line now, but Jacques Villeneuve, that was a 2-minute, 25-second lap for Jacques Villeneuve, so he had a problem somewhere and now finishes outside of the top 6. The car that was putting up the smoke, I think, was Gianmarco Ercoli, but yeah, not quite sure what happened to the 32 on the final lap. So Stinis Longines wins the race. There's a story. And taking the checkered flag in 6th position is car number 50, waiting patiently at turn number 1 for all the cars to take the checkered flag. And then we're going to see Loris Haseman do exactly what you did when you just won the championship.
Yeah,
have some donuts.
The winner donuts are always the best donuts. So I think that's what he's going to do now. Let's see if he can keep up with my donuts.
Ercoli's car, the exhaust is poking right out the side.
Yeah, looks a bit strange, yeah. I don't know if he hit the wall or something.
Yeah, well, there you go. He kicks the exhaust back in again and is sort of surveying whatever has gone wrong. And to me, that looks like a driver that's sort of scratching his head as to what's gone wrong with the car.
Yeah, but it could be him who hit the wall on the start-finish line here.
Yeah.
Because you can see the car has some damage on one of the sides.
So the number 50 waiting patiently. You can see...
Get out of the way.
You can see the lack of visibility, I was going to say. The windscreen wiper's going, but you can't really see Loris Haseman's behind the Perspex windscreen, but he'll have to wait for the confirmation from race control that all of the cars have taken the checkered flag, and only then he'll be allowed to head through. And the last car to take the checkered flag will be the driver that joined me in the commentary box. Mauro Trioni comes through now, finishes in 18th position. That is second in the Challenger category. Challenger Trophy, but the Challenger Trophy overall championship will indeed be going the way of Henry Tuomala. So whilst Gianmarco Ercoli's car is pushed out of the way by our Zolder marshals, Loris Hasemans still continues to wait patiently for the opportunity to have his moment of celebration down there at turn number 1. And now he's been given the thumbs up. It's now time for our champion to celebrate, and a bit like you, I suspect the celebrations for Loris Hasemans and the whole Hasemans family are going to go on long into the night.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. I mean, once you become champion, you really have to celebrate it, and yeah, I guess we're all going to go party tonight.
I've got a flight to catch back. I'd love to join you, but unfortunately, no, I've got to head back to the UK. So Loris Hasemans, subject to official confirmation, the champion for this year. And I think without question, that will also give Hendricks Motorsport the team's championship as well, because they were leading by 115 points in the team's championship over the 24 PK Car Sports team. So Loris Hasemans enjoying the moment on a wet circuit. Slightly easier to do those donuts.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure. But not as much smoke, though. But
no, your smoke was more impressive. Yeah, no smoke from Hasemans there. A bit of spray, though. A bit of spray. So, wonderful stuff from Loris Hasemans. He'll be making his way back around the circuit. You spoke to me, I don't know, what was it, half an hour after you'd left Victory Lane, and I caught up with you to sort of carry out a quick interview, and you said to me, it hasn't quite sunk in yet. It hasn't sunk in that I'm the champion. Is it sort of beginning to sink in now that you've seen Loris Hasemans replicate what you did a few hours ago?
Yeah, it's slowly coming. I can feel from all the comments and everything on Facebook.
There is Bert Longines, which is Stines's father. Bert has been a very, very rapid racer in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series in the past. We've seen him out for a few races earlier on this season. He's been competing in one of the supporting championships in Belcar here earlier on today, and that means a lot to the Longines family. So Bert became a grandfather for the first time just 8 weeks ago. What was it, 10 weeks ago, when Stines became a father. And it's a real supportive family, a real supportive team, PK Car Sports, and special moments, isn't it? As it was for you and as it is for Deck Sweat DF1.
Yeah, it's always a special moment, and especially for the whole family when you see each other after a race, when you're always really happy and getting a bit emotional as well. So.
Oh, big man. We'll give you a cuddle off microphone in a moment. And for people like, your sponsors will be watching. Flex Lease saw you win earlier on. We'll give them a mention, and absolutely. And it's the same for ProJob, who've put so much support and time and effort into Stines Longines. Special moments because they don't come along that often or for that many drivers. So you've got to absolutely grab every moment of them, haven't you? Because they're very special.
Yeah, that's also why when you win the championship, we always have to go party on the Sunday, because, I mean, when you wake up the next day, I know you're still a champion, but then you have to start working for the next season.
Back down to reality, yeah. Back then with the bump, yeah. The hard work
exactly.
starts, yeah. So Stines Longines wins his first ever race in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series Elite 1 division. Loris Hasemans, subject to official confirmation, still getting all of the support of the marshals and officials as he works away around the circuit. There is Bert Longines. It's as though they've won the championship, isn't it? They've just won their first race in Elite 1. But yeah, that's going to be a special one, because the first one that you win is always memorable. So Stines Longines heads towards Victory Lane, the number 11 car that has finished runner-up on 6 separate occasions so far this year in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. And 12 months ago, looked as though he was going to grab his first Elite 1 wins here, but Alan Day had arthritis. Well, he has had to wait 12 months for this moment, and that's why I think the team are enjoying it so much. So Stines Longines clambers out of the car, punches the air with delight, and the scenes of emotion down there in Victory Lane. And remember, that's just the race winner. We've got the scenes of emotion coming from our champion Loris Hasemans to deal with as well. Oh, Dad's getting up on the roof as well. So there we go. Father and son together, both of them very, very quick and talented racing drivers. And now one of them has just claimed his first career win in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Elite One division. It didn't take you long to claim your first race win in the Elite 2 division. You did it on your first weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, yeah. I can't say anything wrong about that. But yeah, I think Elite 1, of course, is there's a lot more contenders for the race win.
For sure.
So, of course, that's harder, and it's really big for a team like PK Carsport when it's the first victory in Elite 1. So, I hope they will go celebrate. Because it's fully deserved, this one.
It is very well deserved. And there we can see the number 50 car as well. Loris Hazeman's joining Stinis Longjing in victory lane. So for Hendricks Motorsport, that wraps up the team title for them. It will also wrap up the junior trophy for them in Elite 1. It wraps up the overall championship for them in Elite 1. And they did miss out on the rookie trophy and the overall Elite 2 trophy because you did that, but it's not a bad haul for Hendricks over this year, is it? So there we go, champagne already flying there. Loris Hazeman gets a real soaking. Not sure he needs that already, but yeah, there we go. Subject to official confirmation, because technical checks always need to be done after these things. The car will go back to the Team FJ workshop and be checked over in the next few hours or so, and Loris Hazeman, as the champion, will head towards Mexico for the final round. But let's hear from our race winner, Stinis Longjing, who is down there in victory lane.
The lens is fogged.
Stinis, finally your first ever Elite 1 division win here at Zolder. Last year it was Alan Day to take it away from you. This time you did it. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's an awesome feeling. Can't describe it because the last 6 laps, when it started raining, like 1 minute before my windscreen wiper stopped working. So it was hell. It was an unbelievable drive, but crazy.
And what can we expect in 2020? You now finally have your win, the championship?
Yeah, for sure. It was already my goal in the beginning of the season. So let's extend that goal and try it again in 2020.
All right, thank you very much. Your Elite 1 race winner, Stinis Longjing.
There we go, Stinis Longjing, very, very happy. I'm going to hang on and see whether Andre down there in victory lane might be able to grab a quick word with Loris Hazeman's as well. So hopefully we'll bring you that. If we can't, then don't go anywhere, because we will grab his reaction on social media. And yeah, Stinis Longjing he was very focused at the beginning of this year. He said to me at the start of the season he'd been working ever harder in the gym. He'd changed his diet. He was spending more time in simulators to try and put everything into place. And even with all of that hard work, as you said earlier on, you need a bit of luck in championships, and it's really Hockenheim and the bad luck that has eluded him the opportunity here this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, for sure you need the luck, but the only thing you can do as a driver is to increase your chances by training and going on a diet and simulator training and everything. So I mean, you can't put a finger on anything he has done this season. So really impressive season he has done so far.
So let's hope that we can grab a quick word with Loris Hazeman, who is enjoying the moment. And there's the congratulations from a member of your team as well there.
Yeah, I mean, we have been fighting with Hendricks Motorsport the whole season, so yeah, it's a good team.
It is one championship goes Dexweb DF1's way, one championship goes Hendricks' way, and it will go in the direction of that man. He'll be heading towards the Night of Champions, where all of the NASCAR Series champions are crowned over in America. He's got the Mexico City race to look forward to, the final race of the Mexican NASCAR Championship. That comes up over the first weekend in December. I think it's the 1st of December. So Loris Hazeman, who has already sampled a chunk of racing in America, including Road America earlier on this year, he's going to be heading over to Mexico for a round of that championship. Let's hear from our champion in Elite 1, Loris Hazeman, who's with Andre.
Second year in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, and now you did it. You are the new Euro NASCAR champion. How do you feel?
It's not sinking in yet, for sure. I mean, the donuts was pretty fun to do. I never did that, well, except for with a road car. But yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. It was, I think, the most hectic last laps that I had in my life. I mean, there was aquaplaning everywhere, cars going off left and right. So, and then it was just like bring it home. But even then, it was the most long laps of my life.
So what can we expect from you in 2020?
No clue. Hopefully America. Hopefully more racing in the US. I mean, this is a great opportunity given that I now won it. I also have a few good opportunities coming up ahead related to the US, so let's see how they pan out. But yeah, my heart still lies with Euro NASCAR, and I'm very thankful for getting this to be able to start here and hopefully building on my future in NASCAR from here.
All right, thank you very much. Your NASCAR Whelen Euro Series champion, Loris Hezemans.
Great to hear from Loris Hezemans, our Elite One champion from the 2019 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. And from one champion to another, Lasse Sorensen. Lasse, that's the end of the year's racing. You're a champion. You can go and celebrate now.
Yeah, thank you. I'll go to the team, get some beers, and thank you for letting me coming off here.
I really appreciate you coming here, Lasse. Many congratulations again. Enjoy this evening, and hopefully we'll see you back in Elite One next year. Thank you for joining me in the commentary box.
I hope so.
There we go, Lasse Sorensen, our champion in Elite 2. We've just heard from Loris Hezemans, our champion in Elite 1. And, well, that now wraps things up for the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series for 2019. As we heard from Jerome Galpin, then already we know that Valencia and Brands Hatch here at Zolder and Hockenheim and Most are all on the calendar for next year because of the contract agreements that are already in place. But do keep your eye on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook and on Instagram, because there is some exciting announcements coming up very, very shortly. Thank you to all of our sponsors as well, to the likes of Whelen, to General Tyre, to Moog, to Munro, to Silverline, and all the rest of the teams and the championships and the supporters that are involved with us. But that's it, done and dusted for another year. We have crowned our champions here at Circuit Zolder for 2019. From everybody here at Euro NASCAR, myself, Mark Werrell, goodbye. We'll see you in 2020. Welcome to Autodromo di Franciacorta. Round 6 of the 2000. Welcome to Circuit Zolder for the final round. The lights go out, the green flag flies. It's all very tight up towards turn 1. Oh, it's close and there's contact. They're side by side. When the checkered flag falls and the race is done, there's always time for celebrations.
That's the wrap.